It's a Matt world, or at least that's the title of tonight's episode of The Leftovers. We're talking about Season 3, Episode 5. Let's get started on tonight's AfterBuzz TV After Show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys, welcome back to AfterBuzz TV for, I feel like I say this every week, one of the weirdest episodes of The Leftovers that we've had.
Yeah.
Guys, we're talking about episode 305, and we're doing so, I can introduce these guys, you know who they are later.
That's true.
But we're gonna break down It's a Matt world, and we have a special guest joining us in studio, Mr. John Murphy himself, Kevin Carroll.
Yeah.
Hello, AfterBuzz. Love you guys.
Thank you. Kevin, thank you so much.
Mutual, for sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
It's been a treat to watch you bring John to life over the last season and a half, and I'm sure the rest of this season, barring any, well, it's The Leftovers turns.
Departures.
Yeah.
Anything.
Well, you never know with this show, right?
Yeah.
Like it can go any
Isn't
way,
that the
it can go
truth?
all ways, or it can go no way.
Look,
Yeah.
there was a
Stay
lion
tuned.
cult.
Frasier.
I don't even know how to describe, how to start to describe the orgy boat that this was on.
Yeah, lion
The
sex
Leftovers can
cult.
go anywhere.
Absolutely. I mean, and what's a show without a lion?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no pride in that, right?
See what you did
Nice.
there.
Hello.
But I'm-
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, the rest of the panel is here as well. I'm Zach Wilson. We have Roxy Striar,
Hi guys, you can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar. I'm so excited to talk with you tonight.
Okay, Rob.
Kelly McInerney.
Hey everybody, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo. Excited too.
And I'm Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That's Kaufmann.
Steve, I just noticed that you're wearing a Gryffindor
Quidditch.
T-shirt, and I'm sure that was not an accident.
It
Why?
was.
Oh, it was. Because Lion, Griffin,
That-
I should have worn my
No,
Wizard
that
of Oz
was
shirt.
that was 100% intentional, and not the shirt I just wanted to wear today.
Sure.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
I'm wearing a shirt with a lion on it because of this episode.
Yes.
Let's go with that.
Well, let's get into tonight's episode. Wow.
I know.
Wow. Just what was your guys' just immediate reactions to it always gets interesting when we do a Matt heavy episode.
Yeah, he's had a weird one every single year, and they're some of the best episodes of the entire show. And I think I can decide finally after his third centered episode that I don't like the guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't like the guy.
He's
Love the actor, hate the character, love to hate him actually. He's infuriating. That's how I feel. That's what this episode solidified for me, that I don't think he's as good of a dude as he thinks he is.
I would say definitely true.
I agree. Like I feel like in the first season he was trying. He was trying to be like a good pastor, and now he's just like, it shows that he is kind of very much self-centered. You know, he just cares about himself. And it was a bummer.
I still see his faith center filtered through himself, as anyone who does their job very well would. That it is self-centered, but it's not self-centered in the sake of. I'm still on Team Matt, and I feel like I'm the only one now. But I think that it's filtered through him. Instead of how we all thought, which is filtered through God, it's filtered through religion, it's filtered through faith. It's all him, but that doesn't mean it's not pure.
Well, I think it's fascinating to watch his journey, and something this show has done spectacularly well has been painting all of these people as full characters. They are not just good, they are not just bad. Their actions have been on both sides. I think John, especially next to Matt, is a perfect, complete opposite and switch. Like when we met John, we hated him. He was a bad guy.
But we like him more and more.
Like Kevin, would you have just John at the top of season 2? Would you have described it? How would you describe him? Like as a bad guy, a good guy?
Well, I don't think I would place a judgment on him. I thought he was a man on a mission, and I still think that where he started from is a pure place. You know, you take a person that has been damaged early on, And from that damage, he sort of, we see him approach life and attack his world around him in a way that is about protecting people around him, making sure nobody else is damaged. That takes us to righting the wrongs with Isaac, a childhood friend of his, whom he, for all we know, had a great relationship with up until the point he felt that Isaac was taking people, taking them in a dirty way, doing it
for granted.
Yes,
Taking advantage
for granted, taking advantage of people, and so in some way, I kind of feel like you can look at the way he went about it may have been extreme, but the reason he did it is admirable and honorable in a way. You take a safe space like Miracle, where we have been protected from this 2%, this great departure, and John's mission is to keep that as safe as it can be, though it's not a perfect place when we all start to witness what Jordan or Miracle is at the time. So in approaching it, I sort of thought of that first. What was he trying to accomplish rather than trying to figure out whether he was good or bad?
Yeah, I think especially next to Matt, John was doing bad things for good reasons.
Absolutely.
He was doing them or for selfless reasons, I guess is a more a more accurate way to think of it.
Well, but I think it maybe extreme might be, in other words, you go to somebody and you say, this is what I think you need to leave. They refuse to leave, and he says, okay, if you refuse, I'm going to help you leave. So I think he was being helpful. I don't think that was, it may come across as a bad thing, but in all actuality, when you look outside and if you happen to remember that shot, John comes up to the front of a house and there's a line of people sitting outside waiting to be helped, right? So when you look at the number of people that were hurt by having their money taken with no real substance in the readings that they were getting. And you think, wait a minute, John removed one person to help a number of people. I don't know if it's bad. And it's not necessarily, is it bad? That then becomes a question.
Well,
do you hurt more than you save? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To remove one to save a lot, is that necessarily bad?
it's like that baby question. Would you kill a baby to save cancer?
There you go.
Yeah.
Whether it's bad or good, I do think it's helped us to see how much John has grown and changed from that season to now. Whether it's because of Lori or losing Evie or for whatever reason, tonight's episode, there were some key moments where we see that he's not the same person.
Absolutely.
And he has definitely grown.
Well, for one, the fact that, Matt and Lori get a chance to go at it quite a bit and John not step into that in itself is a practice in patience and repose. Right. Because before that, I don't think that would have never happened.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
With who John was and where he came from. Because I think his need to control his surroundings, it was too fresh. He had lived by that code for so long, was that the way to protect people around him for the betterment of the community was that he needed a sense of control of it all. So there's no way that maybe just in tone, Matt would have been able to talk to anybody that he loved in the way that he did prior to John having grown.
Imagine if last season John had heard that somebody had spotted Evie somewhere and what he would have done. I know we'll get there, but compared to now, he's cool now. He's chill now. He's definitely simmered down.
Well, yes. Simmered in maybe his approach to it, but hasn't. I don't think he's simmered in his willingness to believe, or the extreme measure to which he will still he is still in search of her. I mean, a part of going to Australia is you know, is because there's still a burning hope that somewhere, some way, he will find her. Do
A
you know
desire
what I
for
mean?
answers.
Yes, his desire for answers still is a part of the pull and a part of the drive.
And that's likely why he's aligned with Matt and believing that Kevin.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we see that in the exchange in the church when you know, John says, "Look, we can't be going through all this for nothing. Like there has to be a reason that we're going through all of this stuff. And if Evie disappeared once and came back, she may have just done it again. You know."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking for. I think it's the same thing that a lot of people are looking for. They're looking for
Answers.
Yeah, they're looking for answers. They're looking for something to do. I think that the difference is John now is willing to be more patient with it and like see where it goes from here.
Well, if I may, I think at the end of season 2, his whole worldview shifted, right? At the end of season 2, with I think John intentionally tried to kill Kevin, and it did not work. And for the, from what John understood is that he aimed for the heart. See, the first time said he had done time, and they asked him what? He said, for attempted murder, and Kevin says, what happened? He said, well, I didn't try hard enough. I really don't know that John intentionally would have or tried at that point to kill his father-in-law who had violated him as a kid. I actually don't think he tried to kill him. I think how that whole thing went down, it got very heated, whatever, and John shot him to show, if you don't believe who I am and the extreme that I go to, here, take this. And,
How did you come to that conclusion? Were you talking to the directors, or is that just your
absolutely
backstory?
not. Absolutely not. There's hardly anything that, listen, Damon is amazing. And he's amazing at not giving you as much as he does give you, right? So some of this you have to endow, you have to figure out for yourself, you have to kind of create a leaping off point to start from. And so this is what made sense for me,
Wow.
right, thus far, is to know that John did not try to kill his father-in-law because of that violation. Because if he tried to kill the father-in-law is not Kevin, to me, this is someone that would have fell victim to being to death. So we pick up with John saying the only real problem with the attempted murder is that he didn't try hard enough. Whereas with Kevin, we see that Kevin is holding a secret of where Evie is, and John thinks that he knows and is not telling him. And for that, I'm trying. This is it. You don't want to give up this information. This is really me going for the heart. That's why he got shot near the heart. And so in John's mind, you should be dead. So when he sees him and Kevin is still alive, to John, that starts this crack in his belief, because it has to be a spiritual, that had to be some sort of spiritual happening, that you did not die when I shoot for the heart.
So
right?
what keeps him from going full-blown Matt? Because in tonight's episode, we see John and Matt, who have the similar belief that Kevin is the next Jesus or something like that, are dealing with it completely differently. Why doesn't John do what Matt does in terms of hunt down this guy pretending to be God, make a huge scene of everything, all of those things?
Especially because John was very kind of extreme at first.
Yes.
So it'd be easier, I feel. But I guess.
No, it would be easier, but in the world of the leftovers, the easiest route is never the one that's taken, right? And so I think we have this idea and obstacle set up where Laurie has come in, and she and John have worked in a way that has changed John's approach to life. And I think that, you know, a part of the journey on this boat, as we see, is that at the moment, the mission at the moment is to get Kevin back to Miracle. These things that Matt happens to run into, that's not what they went for, is to find God. So John, Laurie, I mean, the team is still on task to bring Kevin back.
Just extremely focused.
Exactly. That's what the journey is. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so Matt gets taken off into this new discovery and these new occurrences almost, I don't want to say by mistake, but that's a part of the journey. A part of the journey to accomplishing the goal of getting Kevin back to Miracle is filled with obstacles, and not all of us have the same obstacles in our way on the journey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Well, let's get into Matt and the team's journey.
Let's go.
Because like it starts out just like he charters a plane, and we'll come back. We'll absolutely come back to the submarine opening to this episode. We'll get to.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Matt now.
Deep.
He the only way that they can get there after like all air travel is shut down, it seems like around the world, is their military or relief planes, and Matt as a reverend has access to one.
Would you guys for $20,000 have said yes to this?
To fly
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Money's money.
I mean, assuming that like, I don't. To me, I was like, wait, I feel like jet fuel is like real expensive.
Well, I don't think that was including that.
I think that would
it's an
go through the
addition.
NGO.
This was just to
Yeah.
take care of the
Yeah.
mom while
Yeah.
he was gone.
But I know, but hold on. We can't just brush over that, right? Because now I am sure, as a lot of our fans are engaged in the show, this is like, again, the baby, right?
Yeah.
The baby
Discussion.
decision.
Yeah.
Your mother
Is ill.
is ill.
Looking like she's going to die. Not trying to
And
be
you
rude.
are
but,
no,
yeah.
right. Your mother. Look, see, a lot of people don't get it, but
And it aired on Mother's Day.
Yes. Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day, all leftover fans. But this is what this is where I'm going with this. Listen, your mother is ill. It's Mother's Day, and there's a sack for $20,000 that you have to go do whatever. I don't whether you're gonna babysit a pet or you're gonna do whatever for $20,000. But your mother is ill. Now, we all know, because unfortunately this happens to people that are no matter what level you are, but when you've had a little bit of a run at life, and then you start to have to take care of a parent or see a parent through a transition, and you are presented with a sack of money or risk missing the parent through the transition stage, again, I mean, what do? Do you hug the puppy too tight to kill it, or do you just pet it enough to live?
I
You see what
completely
I'm saying?
agree. And that's what made me worried
This
about
is-
this guy
yeah.
who's piloting the plane.
Right. So this guy, who the guy was an amazing actor, right? But he's only in to take care of his mother. Like, his role is just about taking care of his mother or making a decision for $20,000, and he pilots the plane. But again, I just love the central question, and this is the thing I was about to say. One of the great things about this writing team is that they stick these characters in impossible positions over and over and just sort of say, now live. Here's an impossible situation to emotionally organize within yourself. Mm-hmm. Here it is. You know your history. Live and see what happens. And that's, it's exciting. It's exciting in a way, because stakes are always high, but you have to live and you have to continue as a character to strategize to get what you want.
Yeah, and he was just another example of a human being doing something for God, but maybe not doing the right thing.
Right.
But if you're told it's for God, then it's got to be the right thing. But is it actually the right thing?
Yeah, I think that's what Matt is like forced to face as he goes through this is he like, what is his motivation? Like where John's motivation was like he wanted to protect this town, and this is the way that he saw it. Matt sort of discovers via David Burton, who we have a lot to say about David Burton.
Amazing.
But he discovers through this that his faith has been selfish at the end of the day. Like he's been doing good things. In essence, he's been helping people, like all this, but for
Because he
end of the day,
because he thinks
selfish
God is
reasons.
watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he thinks he's being judged, like, and that's his primary motivating factor. And that's
Or at
it's
least
hard
that's
to
what
get
they
away
come up
from
with
that.
this week.
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to Matt, today, that's what he thinks he's doing it for. And that's what somebody told him. Next week, he'll think he's doing it for his family. The following week, he'll think he's doing it to save John. The next week, whatever it is.
Okay, but can I just interject?
Of
quickly?
course.
No, listen. And this, you guys don't know, like how much the lefties as fans get into like these deep conversations about all this stuff. And it's incredibly provoking. I love it. But the key to a lot of this is, for me, is we always have to remember that this is all in response to this collective tragedy that we've experienced where people have disappeared. And that event has changed all of us. And people are struggling to get what they want on the other side of this event that happened. Like, I can remember Y2K coming, right?
Yeah.
And there was this kind of hysteria that happened in culture where some people were so sure that this was going to happen on Y2K. Other people didn't give didn't care about Y2K. And other people were just kind of caught in the middle. I don't know and I don't know. Even now, we're thinking on this coast, what are we going to do if the button gets pushed? Right, and so this show is sort of reflective of kind of where we are in space and time. So, while Matt may seem this way and that way and this, I always feel like we can't forget what the thrust of the characters, the world that we live in is now different than it was before. Right, the departure changed everything. So everything that we look at from the beginning of the show is about a world in change, a world in flux after it's been shaken to the core of what we know, which is sort of this collective stability in a way.
Yeah, and I hear you on that, and I think that it's important to remember so that we do give some of these characters the benefit of the doubt, as we've given Lori from everything that she did, as we've given John, as we have given Kevin, who's got bags over his head. So I think definitely, but in general, Matt, man, he's irking me. Even with all that.
Yeah, but like he's dealing. What do you guys think about he basically had to come up against this very unique, tiny, like, cult is the best way that I can describe it, like, around that is built up around Frasier, which is a real life story about this lion, and it's exactly how they describe it in the show. So we don't need to recount it here, but the idea that like people looking for meaning have just latched onto this one thing and have turned it into this intense sexual awakening journey.
I love how hedonistic they are in their ideals of just we're searching for meaning, but really we're searching for meaning just as an excuse to do exactly what we want to do. We just want to get on a boat and have a bunch of sex and do a bunch of drugs, but we're gonna bring a lion with us and claim that's what it's about.
But the other side of that is that these people may legitimately believe that this is a thing that they have to do. Like in a world where everyone is searching for answers, for meaning, they see this story of this one old lion who everyone thought was just a charity case, but like he brought in, and then he like was the one that needed to be there, I guess. Sired 35 cubs.
It's a powerful story, and I think it's partially dinner conversation in those instances of like, no, I'm a part of this thing. You remember Frasier? You remember that story? Yeah, that's what I do. That.
And instead,
Don't ask what we do on the boat.
and they have rituals built into it.
Yeah.
Like,
Because if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it right.
Yeah.
Why not? If you are not hurting other people and you are not the GR, because you know how we feel about them, then I'm down. I'm down. Have as much sex as you want. Bring a lion on the boat. Do whatever it is you got to do because you don't know if you're going to depart tomorrow. If that's the name of your game, that's fine.
Treat the lion right, though.
Treat the lion right and don't murder people off the boat. Feel like those are two simple rules.
Well, to be fair, the person murdering people off the boat
Wasn't
not
part of the call.
Wasn't a part of the thing.
what? Okay, so let's get into David Burton because this is to clarify because we were unsure, like we were like a little like not 100% sure before. This is the same guy. Like this is not the first time that David Burton has been seen or referenced on the show. Tower Santa Jesus Man or Pillar Man, as the show calls him.
Yeah.
He's an
was
established
writing a
canon,
letter to David Burton. This actor, Bill Camp, we have seen before, specifically as the man on the bridge in the International Assassin episode where Kevin went to the hotel.
He gave some weird advice to Kevin, man.
So he's here claiming to be God, claiming to have come back from the dead as God, and we have seen him appear to our maybe Jesus character, as John is now questioning. Maybe he's like a new savior. And he has seen this guy who believes that he is God in a vision.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff happening here.
Okay, but
That is
the
true.
biggest thing that is happening is, are you kidding me with the hypocrite Matt? Matt sitting there saying that Kevin, because he can't die and comes back to life, is Jesus, but this guy who literally did that couldn't possibly be God. The parallels are so ironic, it's ridiculous, and he's talking out loud, and I can't believe he's not actually catching himself. I feel like John, Lori, Michael, they're all seeing it a little more, and Matt's just so deep in it, he has no idea.
You don't think he does halfway through that conversation?
You mean when he finally brings the guy down to the lion with an axe in his hand?
No, I mean through that conversation. Like he seems to, by the end of it, he seems to believe that this man might be God.
He unties him.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have untied him if
He
a
unties
decent part
him-
of him wouldn't have felt he might be God.
He unties him and he kneels before him, and he basically accepts like a life-changing like he changes his like how he's approaching life after this encounter. I get Roxy. I totally understand your frustration with him because like this is the motivating thing that you're gonna calm down after.
It upsets me. It upsets me that he feels as if he is so self-righteous that it's got to be his God that he found, and it can't be this other guy who thinks he's God. Why can't anybody who's almost died and come back been God then in your book?
Because he's a little selfish, and it has to be the God he found.
Yeah. And he saw it, like he knows him. He
Right.
doesn't know
And it
this
has
guy.
to be the God or the Messiah that he
This
convinces.
also makes three people who either believe that they are the savior on earth or somebody else believes because
Yes.
Kevin Sr. thinks he is too.
So not as John, but as Kevin, what do you think about this stuff that's going on with Matt?
You know, this is a part of the. This is the meat, right?
Yes.
This is where it is. So I'm enjoying what you guys are taking on this, right?
Yeah.
But this is the meat, and I really I find it interesting in that we have a lot of cults that have happened and a lot of people that have endowed other people with godlike qualities, and those people have been able to sort of convince people to do so many extreme things, and we've seen it over and over, time again, that I feel that there is some merit to a person assigning godlike qualities to another person. And because I think there's a part of you gain energy by believing in what you decide to believe in. And, this is where I probably will get a lot of emails, y'all. Be cool.
Be cool. Be
cool.
cool.
No, but I just think that if you decide to endow something with the properties of godlike proportions, it doesn't matter what it is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are people that have beliefs in all different kinds of things, and the power of whatever they're believing in has that power because they've given it that much power.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but I enjoy what I'm saying with this conversation about Matt's belief in general because of the show. So, I mean, that's what I'll say about it.
If Matt believes that this guy is God, when David Burton snaps next to Matt and says, "You're cured," or "You're fixed," whatever he says, does Matt believe that he is? Because if he did, then otherwise he wouldn't have told Lori that he was dying.
Yeah.
Or is he seeing this guy and believing the exact opposite? Is he about to basically ditch his belief that Kevin is the savior because he's seeing like this guy has no more reason to claim, like his claim is no more valid than Matt's.
That's
And
what
that's
I
what-
took from it.
Yeah.
Because at the end, when they're like, "Do you have any pressing things?" He's like, "Nah," because he's giving up on like looking for Kevin and everything.
Yeah,
Because
that's a
he's
good
like,
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
That-
agree.
That he's definitely giving up on it, and I think he's just questioning his entire faith up to that point, and his belief system's being completely challenged. I kind of really looking forward to that Matt. That Matt who doesn't necessarily have such a steadfast goal of like, no, this is my faith, this is God, this is everything. Of like, I don't know anymore. I might actually be cured because some dude snapped in front of my face. And
Yeah.
I don't quite understand it.
Although, if this guy is posing and is being blasphemous and like disrespecting God, he does get smitten. I don't know what the word is here.
Smot?
Smot
Yeah, he's smited by the lion.
by a lion eating him. It is hard to say that there is a more biblical way to go down.
That's pretty straight up biblical.
My mind immediately went to, but do the people who let the lion out of the cage, are they going to get arrested because they let the lion go and now the lion went and killed that guy? And
Yeah, was it intentional? Did they
No,
try?
that was absolutely intentional.
I think they
to
were
go after
like animal rights activists, like not okay with how they were treating the lion, and they hoped that they
Right.
were that the lion was gonna like eat all of the cultists.
I think they're guilty remnant, but that's for predictions.
Interesting.
I think the guilty. I don't think they're guilty remnant. I think they're just like they're trying to like fight for this animal's freedom. They said they've been touring this lion around the world.
going on
That
all
is
the
true.
Jews.
But I do think if their goal was absolute, like I think their goal was to free him and not necessarily for the lion to kill everyone. Because if their goal was for the lion to kill everyone, they would have released it while the boat wasn't in port.
Why would they want the lion to kill everyone?
That was brought up on I don't know why they'd want that either. But I think
That's what Zach said to get
That's
rid
what
of
I was saying. Because
Yeah,
To
like-
kill all of the people?
the cultists, yeah, because that's why she was telling.
why she said stay
She said
on.
stay on the boat because she was gonna release that group of the 3 people who are on top of the cage with the bolt cutters. I think they were I think they're animal rights activists that just trying to free this lion.
I don't think they were trying to get the lion to kill every single person. I think they were trying to make a point. Like, free the lion, and whatever he does, he
Yeah.
does.
I don't know. I think
Well, no, 'cause-
they're
Yeah.
cold-blooded.
because
They're just like, it's going to eat you.
But if they wanted to free a lion, releasing it with the intention of it to kill anyone is counterproductive because then they'll put that lion down.
Oh.
Didn't they shoot it?
They did.
We heard gunshots, so they
Yeah.
likely shot that lion.
I have to imagine.
So
they
if
shot
they
the
were animal
lion.
rights activists and they wanted that lion to live, they did a terrible job.
Yeah.
All right, this is a lot of time on the lion.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
The lion was incredible.
Yeah.
Listen, you read the stuff on the page and you're thinking, oh, well, some CGI. How are they gonna? What? No, they had a real lion show up, and that lion was pissed. You know what I mean?
Really?
Oh, well, I think it upset him because people kept stepping on his line or something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
for
Like, no.
He wanted to
but,
shine.
Yeah, exactly. It was like it is my time to shine. But the line, like, it was incredible. Like, there's no way you could ever imagine that we were gonna have a real lion on set, and yet on the day, there it was. You got the whole speech. Everybody stay back from the lion. Blah blah blah.
Oh, they went over
So,
lion safety with
they
you
went
guys.
over- yes, there's a lion safety protocol. You know, the lion's agent was there. It was like a whole thing, right? And whenever the lion felt like it, he roared, and it shook. Like, it literally shook people. Like, you could feel it vibrate.
Like the bass from it.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Did you have to do multiple takes? Like sometimes the lion would roar right in your amazing take.
Yeah. But Australia was full of animals, so you'd be kind of working on something, and then you have a kangaroo hopping through the back of the shot, and it's like, can we keep that? No, we have to keep the kangaroo. It was like, was cool, but he hopped right in the middle of the most important part of the scene. So then, like, you had to cut the kangaroo.
Great
so
blooper
cool.
reel stuff.
Really cool.
Like I've seen this come up a couple times in the chat. Like people, and if you guys have other questions, please. Questions for Kevin, like please let us know. How was it to shoot? Because like the lion must have been crazy enough, but that whole boat sequence had to have been. I have to imagine was a unique shooting experience.
It was very unique. But this is what I will say about it is that everybody showed up, game to play. And it was.
I think that says it all right there.
Yeah. It was one of those.
Respect. That's awesome.
No, but it really was, and I think like there were a few times. Of course, things got cut out. Some things got cut around. Blah blah blah. But you're asking a lot for strangers to show up and to get down with the pride, right? Yeah, I mean, you're really asking a lot. But I think that on the day people showed up, hey, how are you? Let's disrobe and let's get busy. In the way that we do. And it was amazing because people actually showed up and came out and did the job, which was pretty incredible.
Professionals. I mean, I think you have to be for that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible.
So many heat lamps and bathrobes.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm so
my
glad
God.
you said that. It was freezing on the boat. As a matter of fact, it was wintertime in Australia, right?
Oh, wow.
So they really do have 4 seasons in one day. You wake up, it's one thing. By high noon, it's something else. In the middle of the day, it's something else. And at night, it's freezing. And so that boat scene, and I will have to say this, Nicole Castle directed the episode. And, Chris, who plays Matt, he was so locked in and he was so focused in this episode, and to see the work that he and Nikki did together to bring it to life was a beautiful thing. As actors, you always, like, for example, in season 3, like, every actor on the show wanted more writing, wanted more written for them. But as our writers' room goes, it's story first, and the story dictates who's there and who's not. So for Matt or Chris to have this episode and to just watch him navigate this world, for example, when he's wrapped in the cover,
The shiny blanket.
in the shiny blanket, right? It is freezing.
Oh my God.
And he was already working in another scene, and he comes up, and now they have to dump water on him, right?
Oh, God.
And there's no
They
way
don't
to
use
get.
olive oil or
No,
something?
I'm
So-
sorry,
Still
like it'd be
liquid,
great
but-
for his skin, but no.
Yeah.
It like it was freezing. He had just finished another scene, then he had to run upstairs, and I was sitting. I was like, "Oh, you poor guy! Here it comes!" And they dump water after water, after bucket of water, and then we had to do take after take, and the wind. Oh,
Well,
it
that's
was-
what he gets for making fun of other people's
I hope
God.
you feel better. I hope you feel better.
I do
Just
now.
to know that he suffered to get you to hate him.
Oh my God. But he does such a good job at it.
He has impressed like just more and more every season.
No, listen, I like in all honesty, the actors that Vicky Thomas cast on the show, everybody showed up with an absolute commitment to be as locked in as they could be and to be as much of a team player as you could ask for. You know, it sounds corny to talk about, but it was really, really a great team of people from the cast, crew, you know, to HBO, the people who came down. Everybody gave their total support to it, and it was an incredible experience.
Yeah. It's a wonderful show. And we've got about 5 minutes left, guys. And like we can't hit every point in the episode in 5 minutes that we haven't talked about yet. So do you guys have any other things that you really wanted to mention or discuss?
Don't apologize because you're awesome. You made this episode incredible. Yeah. I think my main qualm with Matt recently, and this is something that we can touch more upon next week, is his issue with Lori and me feeling like he's a little bit of a sexist character, and what his issue was with his wife and him feeling like he's always the righteous one.
And he has to be in control of her.
Has to be in control and all of that. And him not thinking, even when Michael says, Michael, John, Matthew, maybe Lori too as a disciple, and he just can't get that through his head at first, and that bothers me.
I thought that when he heard that, he actually did hear it. Like, he hadn't thought of it before, and that's a problem in itself. But I think that as soon as Michael said that, he did have that thought of like, maybe she is, maybe she is.
But why do you go to sexist?
Because I do feel as if he looks at men one way and looks at women as secondary.
Yeah, well, does he care about his wife? Like, she just disappeared, and he's going to Australia.
And I think that's important that they wrote a character in like that, because there is a lot of the world that is like that.
No, absolutely.
And
but I also think that Lori she's been sort of slow to come around to believing in the book of Kevin.
Yeah, that is true.
You know
and
what I mean?
so has Carrie Coon.
You know what I mean?
It could be just that the women are more rational on this show.
Hello?
That's very possible.
But it could not be a sexist thing.
No,
it could
I
be a
don't know.
comfortability.
And then it may be. I mean, you know,
Also,
it's all valid.
To your point, Matt didn't know where his sister was either.
Yeah, that's true. He hadn't called her.
He
hadn't even tried to find out.
I think it's part misogyny and then part just focused.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair enough.
50-50.
Kelly or Steve, anything else that you wanted to make sure we brought up?
What can we talk about becoming Frasier? Like, what were they gonna some sex thing?
I think they were about to pump semen out of
and
Matt.
Okay.
possibly pump it into other people in the cult who may want to sire children among the
Yes.
pride.
Lest you become him.
That's
Hello.
that would be part of it. That I think
Become him.
that
Become
that if people really believed if people really believed to that, there would be women among that pride who would be like, if somebody spoke his name after midnight, he became Frasier, therefore I'm going to take the seed of whoever became him.
I wanted to see it happen.
Interesting.
Yeah, me too.
You wanted to see
now
what?
That I heard
I think-
it,
I wanted to see him go through with it.
I think
just
Chris's
having been
face would have sold that
mortified.
well.
Oh my God! Isn't that the best? Just the thought.
Also,
He's so good.
I do want to point out the Tom Wilson reference. Tom Wilson plays Biff in all the Back to the Future movies, who if you come up to him on the street and ask him about Back to the Future, he hands you a card that answers most of the questions.
Really?
That's pretty funny.
That felt lateral to the God card.
I wonder if they knew that. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I want to touch on the submarine opening really quick, because just like I don't know how much there's to say. Like, this is the explosion that was referenced last week that has shut down air travel, has caused panic in Melbourne. That was crazy. I have to imagine that this isn't just an example of a guy going nuts because of the anniversary of the departure and the seventh anniversary, and everyone thinks it's the end of days because of the
This seems
biblical number
incredibly
7.
premeditated.
Yes, but I don't mean he snapped in that moment and was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I think he's been doing yoga in his like room for months, training to like turn a key with his foot.
Yeah, this was wild. And after hearing Kevin say it was very cold there, I feel bad for him because he had to be all naked and stuff.
I hope that set was warm.
That was probably it.
That looked like a studio.
It's probably
Like-
on stage.
That's sort of how Australian people talk. They break a lot of things like brekkie.
Yeah.
Hello, would you like some brekkie?
That's
and
where I
you
got
just
it
said
from.
Nicky.
Nikki, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's very Australian of you.
I love that
Thank
in
you.
that sequence they
Yes.
didn't give us very much information beyond that it was a French nuclear submarine that exploded
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of a naked dude.
because of a naked dude who we are not sure if he was even one of the 2 key holders of that sub or whether he was someone who knew the combination to one of the key holders.
Yeah,
And then he beat down on the other key holder and got both keys and then did yoga to do the thing. I think we'll find out a lot more about that.
Yeah.
Next week, I think he was also guilty remnant.
We're gonna have next week. We'll get into all of your theories on like more guilty remnant because we're unfortunately out of time. And I want to say make sure that we have time to say thank you one more time to Kevin for coming in. Other than the next remaining 3 episodes of Leftovers, do you have anything else that you have coming out that you want to let people know about?
Did a couple of episodes of The Catch.
Awesome.
Yeah, which had a great time with those guys over there. In and Out of Snowfall, which is be coming out soon.
Cool.
So all this is television stuff.
Busy.
Well, that's the right place to tell TV
Yeah.
people
It's
about
hello.
this. Yeah.
You know.
Where's
hopefully I'll be
Snowfall
back.
gonna be?
I think it's gonna be on Fox.
Okay,
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
In the winter?
We'll look out for it.
Well
We-
played. Well played.
Kelly.
Sorry.
We did.
But
All right.
That was so good. That was
so good you almost missed it.
Oh man, yeah.
And social media.
At Kevin T. Carroll on Twitter. About Kevin Carroll is my webpage.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you to
Say
you
hello,
guys.
y'all.
Thank you guys for joining us for the Leftovers after show. We're gonna break down a little. We'll fill in the gaps that we missed this week. On next week's episode.
Yeah.
It's not like we don't have a lot to cover next week. I'm sure. As we meet as Nora and Kevin, or maybe Kevin, but Nora joins our little team here, and we'll see what the results are of that.
Yes.
Until then, I've been your host, Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ZachWilson. Also, I want to say, Google the Avinu Malkeinu, which the song they played a bunch of times. It's very relevant. It's a Hebrew.
Thanks, guys, for watching. I'm Roxy Striar. You can find me at Roxy Striar. And one more thanks to Kevin. You were awesome. Thank you for giving us all the insider information.
I
That was
love
great.
AfterBuzz TV.
And
Thank
we love you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Love AfterBuzz.
Thanks again. I'm Kelly McInerney. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo.
And I'm Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That's Kaufmann. You can also find me here at AfterBuzz TV tomorrow while we'll be doing both Gotham, which has been renewed, and Better Call Saul.
All right, guys. This has been the Leftovers After Show. Thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.